Tonight we have Alexandra Walker, PhD, a teacher and writer in human consciousness, and as most of you know, she's my beautiful daughter as well. And we're talking tonight about self-love and developing intuitive dialogue with our body. What brought this topic on, Alan?
Well, I'm convinced that so many of our emotions are dictated by the outside world. And so many have gotten lost in the outside world that the world has become our reference point. So our feeling of whether we're beautiful or our feeling of whether we're successful or happy in our lives is often dictated by comparisons that we make to other people in the outside world. I was only today just talking to a couple of girls about they're getting married, and they were saying they felt a lot of pressure to conform to these standards and impossible expectations now of weddings, and they'd lost touch with their own connection, with their own alignment of what they actually wanted for their wedding because of the expectations that have been created by the industry. And I think that happens in so many parts of our lives.
Well, one of the greatest psychologists ever, Abraham Maslow, talks about being a no-limit person. And he gives the 5 components of being a no-limit person. The first component is to be independent of the good opinion of other people. What people think of you is their business. And unfortunately, many of us, I don't think too many people I know can say that they don't do this. Many of us are so affected by what other people think of them and behave because that's what other people think of them. So
definitely. So a lot of us, I think it's natural for us to just lose that sense of alignment. And I call it our inner wisdom or our inner guide. And so whereas in an ideal world, all of us would be guided by that inner wisdom and live from that place of checking in first and working out how something feels to us and then going and acting in the outside world. A lot of us have got it the wrong way around, and now we're conditioned to go out in the world and see how that feels, and then we go back and process our inner feelings in response to the outside world.
yeah, but in a world where so many things are judged by how you look or how smart you are or what sort of car you drive or where you live, I mean, how can you bring yourself back to that way of thinking?
I don't think the answer is necessarily eradicating all of those things. I mean, for some people, the expression of how they look and what they wear is a part of their abundance. It's a part of their creative expression. And I wouldn't say let's get rid of that. For some people, the kind of car they drive is their chariot. You know, it's the
it expresses them a little bit.
It does express them, and it's their expression of joy. So I wouldn't say that we need to go completely the other way and all go and live in huts and be very monastic. Whereas for some people that might be aligned. The thing is actually just tuning into our own integrity and our own consciousness. Whereas for some people, they buy the car not because it's lined up with their highest joy or the highest good. They buy the car because their friend has a car, and they buy the dress because their friends are all buying a dress from that particular shop. So the problem is actually not the superficiality, I think. The problem is actually losing connection with our inner wisdom.
Okay, but you lose the connection, but how do you bring it back?
Okay, so one of my favourite go-to tools for inner processing and inner work it's my favourite actually because it's the art of self-healing. It's something that we can all do anytime, anywhere, no matter who we are, no matter what our background is. And it's called focusing. And focusing is a psychotherapeutic tool that was developed by Eugene Gendlin in 1978. And he actually did 15 years of research at the University of Chicago.
He must be pretty focused.
And he actually discovered that in psychotherapy, the patients with the best outcomes are the ones who are able to tap into what he called their inner wisdom, or their inner felt sense, he called it. So it wasn't about the attendance at therapy that made a difference. It was actually the patients with the outcomes were the ones who were actually able to tune in to their felt sense and do the work during the therapy that made the difference. And he said that those were the ones that had the best outcomes. So he developed a psychotherapeutic tool around it called focusing. So the next point is, well, what is focusing?
Tuning into your felt sense. I mean, you know.
Okay, so what is focusing? So step one, you need to actually find a place where you feel that you can tune into your body. So for most people, that would be away in a quiet room somewhere.
Is it sometimes yoga, or it could be meditation?
Well, it's actually more directed than that. It's more focused than that. So when I first started, it was actually I needed to sort of be in a quiet room, either sitting or lying down. Now I do it in the car. You know, sometimes driving 80 k's an hour along the road because I'm better at it. You know, it's a skill like any other. So you tune into your body, which
Can you
means
get fined for doing that? Focusing.
focusing. So tune into your body, and you start off with whatever it is that you want to figure out. Is it the discomfort that you're feeling? Is it some indecision? Is it some anxiety that you're experiencing? Or just, I'd like to access more joy and peace. So you start off with that as your guide. Sit down, tune into your body, and ask your body where that emotion, where you're experiencing it in your body. So you're very quiet. And for most people at that point, they just go straight into resistance. I can't feel anything. I don't know where this is in my body. This is ridiculous. And they shut off right there. Be patient, be open, and something will always come. You might get a sense, I'm feeling something in my stomach, or I'm feeling a pain in my shoulder, or my neck hurts, or I've got a bit of a headache, just as you're asking this question. Now, the true shift, once you've gotten in touch with that, get as clear as you can about it. You know, try to get clear on the image. Is it butterflies in your stomach? Is it a feeling of daggers or fire in your back? Just try to get really clear on what Gendlin called the felt sense. And then the transformation is in asking the felt sense, ask the feeling what it's like from its point of view.
Okay, this is kind of, you were discussing shadows a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of breaking through that shadow.
Yeah, so it's actually your way of communicating with your own inner wisdom. If there's an addiction you're working on, if there's any kind of pain you're trying to move through, find it, locate it in your body, and then ask it what it's like from its point of view. Now again, we're going out of the ego rational mind and into the soul intuitive body. And so it's a very different experience. So we need to be patient with the process, but you'll get a sense of what it feels like. And then the final step, ask it what it wants. The answer might be simple, the answer might be transformative, but there's always an answer. And that's you accessing the inner wisdom of your body. And you can do that with anything. If you're making a decision about the wedding, what cars feel right, go into your body. There's always an answer coming from that.
So you're saying any issue whatsoever in your life that you want to resolve, no matter whether it's superficial, whether it's a much deeper issue, you go through this stepped process. So repeat the steps again.
Okay, so tune into your body.
Tune into your body and look for some sort of
find where the discomfort is in your body.
Yeah,
so where am I feeling this in my body?
Whether it's an ache somewhere or it's a tingling, it doesn't matter what it is,
Exactly.
whatever the feeling is. Okay,
Get really...
So where is it, number one?
Where is it?
Number two?
What does it feel like? Get really clear on the felt sense.
Okay, you want to describe the feeling, that's number two. So where is it? Describe it.
Describe the feeling, then ask it what it's like from its point of view.
Okay, so you're actually having a conversation to some feeling that you're having there and asking what it's like from its point of view,
And then finally, ask it
Number
what it
four.
wants.
What it wants. And when you ask, I mean, you've obviously done this, when
Several
you ask
times.
it what it
times.
wants, what sort of response? Give me an example.
Okay, an example. All right, I've had focusing experiences where it might start off as butterflies in my stomach. Then the butterflies might turn into a feeling of fire, and then the fire might turn into something else. And then I say, what is it like from your point of view? And then the fire might say, I'm feeling frustrated because I need some more expression. I feel like I need to creatively express. Okay, what do you want? I need to write. It might be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a process. It might be something a lot deeper than that. Someone might check in and their feeling might say, I need to completely transform my lifestyle. The way that I'm eating and drinking, what I'm putting into my body is toxic. And I need a transformation here. So it might be a deep transformation. It might be that wedding dress is right for you as opposed to that wedding dress. And then you get so good at this art of self-healing or focusing that you start living from this place of inner wisdom. What feels right? And what feels right for you might not be what feels right for anybody else. But that's the beauty of it. And I think it's something that can be practiced anywhere by anyone.
That's true.
It's great. Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Sort of tapping into the inner
Okay, well, if people are listening to this, and I think a lot of people probably haven't got a pen and didn't write this down.
Sure.
How can the listeners...
Well, I've actually just done an article today, which I've just put up on my website, all about focusing. So it goes through all of the 5 steps of focusing.
So for people who don't know your website, that
is www.awalker.tv.
Okay, well that's pretty simple. Why do people always put the 3?
We
all know it's the 3.
It's awalker.
awalker.tv. There you go. Well, Alexandra, as always, you astound us. Thank you. We'll talk
Thanks
to you
for having
very
me
soon.
on. Bye.